Welcome everyone to our Ventures annual showcase. We are so delighted to be able to live stream this event to you. My name is Rachel Dagg, UQ's Chief Student Entrepreneur, and to kick things off this evening, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jessica Gallagher, Pro Vice-Chancellor of Global Engagement and Entrepreneurship at the University of Queensland. Jessica is responsible for the continued development and implementation of the university's global strategy and partner engagement framework. She leads a number of key institutional partnership activities, strategic engagement events, business development opportunities, and a wide range of programs designed to create change in global communities and to extend the university's reputation and reach. Dr. Gallagher also leads the ongoing development of UQ's entrepreneurship strategy, encompassing high-level oversight of UQ Ventures, the umbrella brand of the university's suite of entrepreneurial activities and programs. Her leadership is expanding links with local, national and international entrepreneurship ecosystems. Please welcome her.
Thank you, Rachel. It's wonderful to have you as MC for our event tonight. Hello everyone and welcome to the Ventures annual showcase. My name is Jess Gallagher and I'm the Pro Vice-Chancellor of Global Engagement and Entrepreneurship here at the University of Queensland. Even though we are all joining from different locations around the world, with the majority of us being here in Australia, I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners and their custodianships of the land where UQ stands. We pay our respects to elders, past, present and emerging, who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. We recognise the important role of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people continue to play within our community and their valuable contributions to Australian and global society. I'd also like to acknowledge our UQ colleagues, students and panellists joining us here in person and online, and the many supporters of UQ Ventures around the world. Tonight is a night for celebration. We all know that it's been an unusual year, but let's not dwell on that, not tonight. This event is about celebrating the creative, resourceful, resilient and innovative entrepreneurs that we've seen grow through Ventures programs and activities throughout the year. Our participants never cease to amaze us with their ingenuity, and this year has been no exception. There have been more than 6,200 participants in Ventures programs so far this year, and we're not finished yet. Our student entrepreneurs continue to be impressive on the national and global stage. We were delighted to see 3 UQ students form part of the winning team of the National Innovation Games this year. And once again, a UQ team was successful in making the top 7 shortlist of the Global Business Challenge against 153 teams from 23 countries. We wish Cheer and the Smart Harvest team all the best in the upcoming finals. 5 outstanding startups participated in the virtual iLab Accelerator Pitch event this year, showcasing innovations from space tech, aviation tech, health and wellbeing to retail. Over 1,500 people have viewed the event on YouTube, and there's been strong follow-up interest in each of these growing companies. We expect to see great things from the founders of Current Organics, PhysiSqueeze, Valiant Space, Rapid Check-In and Open Inductions. Congratulations also to our iLab alumni network who are continuing to shine in their fields. Startups such as the education tech startup Vigo, whose platform is going from strength to strength, and were selected by the Queensland Government to provide support to students impacted by the pandemic. Dr. Nigel Greenwood and the Machine Genes, who were named one of the 10 semi-finalists for the IBM Watson AI X Prize competition, and their work building the world's first genuinely machine intelligent artificial pancreas. Alan Robertson and Clear Sky Genomics is helping make genomics and its advantages more accessible to patients. Alan was recognised as an emerging talent by the Australian Academy of Science as part of the Falling Walls Lab Australia. Augmented Bionics for helping people hear with a non-surgical bionic ear. Viraj and his team recently closed a $650,000 investment round and are now finalists in the Falling Walls Breakthrough of the Year 2020 awards. It's been another year of innovation for Ventures as we ran our first ever virtual hackathon, connecting more than 100 students and mentors from across the world, including the UK, Canada, and the United States. First place went to Skills Plus with an automated career advisory platform. We've also expanded the opportunities for our students to connect with industry this year through the Ventures Industry Challenge. We are so very pleased to have partnered with WaterStart and their member organisations, Urban Utilities, Unity Water and SEQ Water, to address the issues of water scarcity. I'd also like to thank the team with Advanced Queensland and the Department of Natural Resources, Mines and Energy for their support for this initiative. Recently acknowledged as second in the world for water research publications, UQ is a great place to tackle water issues, and we look forward to seeing the top 5 teams pitch later on this evening. As we celebrate entrepreneurship tonight, we also recognise the significant number of people who make ventures possible. We are very fortunate to have support of many people in the ecosystem. This is a truly wonderful community for both giving back and paying forward, and we say a sincere thank you to all of our speakers, mentors and collaborators who do so much to help build our incredible community of innovators and leaders. We have a lot to look forward to tonight, so without any further ado, I would like to invite our panel of speakers onto stage, along with our fabulous MC, Rachel, who has done a fantastic job as this year's UQ Chief Student Entrepreneur. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jess. I now have the privilege to introduce our amazing panellists who have all participated in Ventures programs in 2020. Today we'll be discussing how can entrepreneurs create change in times of uncertainty. So joining me, we have James Dight. James is a current UQ PhD student in biomedical sciences, focusing on stem cell and cancer biology, and also completed his bachelor and honours in science here at UQ. James participated in our very first virtual hackathon held in July. The hackathon ran over 3 weeks with online resources and workshops. James and his team placed second overall for their COVID recovery solution. Next, we have Anna Fuldner. Anna is a UQ student completing a master's program in business, in sustainability and entrepreneurship. And she is also a sustainability research assistant here at UQ. Anna participated in the Ventures 2020 San Francisco Startup Adventure over January and February, which gave her the opportunity to intern with a startup for 4 weeks. She has also worked in a startup in Egypt previous to moving to Australia, so she is well versed in the startup space internationally. We also have Elsa Lay, a Bachelor of Advanced Finance and Economic Honours student at UQ. Elsa participated in our recent winter Lead Hers program. Lead Hers is a ventures program that aims to support women to become more confident in their leadership capabilities, while exploring the common challenges most professional female leaders face in their career. And last but not least, Ian Ling, who is part of our 2020 iLab Accelerator cohort and co-founded and is CEO of Curran Organics. At the conclusion of the 6-month accelerator program, Ian and his co-founder, Leong, won the 2020 Shane Jigsby Young Entrepreneurs Prize for their efforts building Curran Organics, which provides practical and ethical solutions to laundry detergents. Welcome, everyone. So we're here today to talk about how entrepreneurs create change in times of uncertainty. So a question for you all: why do you think entrepreneurial skills are so important in this ever-changing world? And that is in all your different contexts, so as founders, as leaders, and entrepreneurs. Kick us off, James.
Yeah, right. Hello. Is this thing working? Yep. All right. It's a broad question. It's good. I think that entrepreneurial skills really teach you it's really broad. You learn a whole lot of skills. So through my experience in startup is that you get exposure to a whole heap of different things. You really understand how a business works in regards to financials. If you don't really know anything about legals, you probably have to know a little bit there. Yep. You know, you get to touch on marketing, you get to touch on customer support, a whole heap of different things that really, the university offers in a whole heap of different areas, but you don't really get to touch on.
Yeah.
So it's an experience which allows you to sort of, if you're curious, go and touch on every component of a successful business, which is really quite cool. So that's all.
Yeah, so it gets you out of sort of the 20% of many industries that you would otherwise not really get to touch.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm studying science at the moment, but I had an interest in economics and finance in the past, in undergrad and high school, and then I got to really exploit that in some of my previous ventures as well, that I got to touch on the financials. Even though I didn't study any of those subjects, you really throw yourself in the deep end and, do your research and figure out what skills you need to really get, the business to that next step and over the line.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, James.
So I think for me, the most important entrepreneurial skill is being able to adapt to change. And I think that's really what we need right now in these uncertain times. We have so much happening in this world, like constant technological change. We have global challenges such as climate change issues or, a growing population. And I think that mindset of being like open-minded and innovative and creative and think outside the box, that's really something we need right now. And I think another skill that you really learn on your entrepreneurial journey is building resilience, because there's constant setbacks. It's not going to just run smoothly, and you have to adapt and be resilient. And I think that we can really transfer these skills and to navigate through these uncertain times.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Rachel. To me, when we talk about entrepreneurial skills, we're essentially referring to skills outside of regular skills that we're taught every day at school to essentially imitate and reproduce at work. Entrepreneurial skills, on the other hand, are more about innovation and productivity, which, yes, in itself, they are teachable skills. They teach you to produce a whole new concept. And the idea of how entrepreneurial skills can create change is it essentially fills a gap in the market that hasn't already been done before. Or, for instance, it has been done before, but not in the particular market you're working in. So what entrepreneurial skills enables us to do is to identify this market and introduce a whole new functionality to it. So successful entrepreneurs are able to introduce certain markets and certain economies these whole new idea, way of life, and way of thinking. Now, you ask, why is this important for different contexts, such as leaderships and founders? Well, these people are essentially at the forefront of decision-making. They need to quickly identify gaps in the market and provide solutions in order to capture these markets. So people such as leaders and decision-makers, they really need to be embedded with these entrepreneurial skills. And it's not just them, everyone, just like you and I, everybody here, we all need to be embedded with these entrepreneurial skills so we can fast adapt to the ever-changing society that we face today.
Great, thank you. And Ian?
Yeah, I really echo what Anna and Elsa shared about being adaptable to change. I think where we are today, given today's circumstances, although international borders have not been open for a long time, I think more than ever, we are more interconnected through virtual means. And I think that is something that's unique to our generation, that's unique to this year. And we've never seen such a big growth in the startup space. So as a startup founder, I think that it is the ripest time, if we may speak of, that there's never been a time where corporates are not dominating global markets anymore. It's really down to each and every individual. And I think that what entrepreneurial skills gives us as individuals is to not just be consumers of products, but to be able to be producers of products as well.
Yeah, and you're a bit of an expert given that you started iLab right bang when COVID started, so you had to be very resilient during that time, I bet.
I think it's been an interesting experience, but I think on top of that, although we've had to move things online, it gave us an opportunity to connect with mentors, with advisors all the way from the United States, for example, which we would not have in person otherwise.
Yeah, great. So Elsa, next question for you. How did the Lead Hers program help you in the industry that you want to go into, and I guess how did it prepare you on a practical level?
Well, first of all, having come from a finance background, I experienced firsthand the imbalance of gender one can feel in any industry, and specifically in the finance industry. And just going into a program full of strong female leaders from all sorts of disciplines and backgrounds, that in itself was already very empowering. And throughout the program, it was a 6-week program, and we were involved in a mentoring activity. And it was the first time that I had to go out there and find myself a mentor, as well as present myself as a mentor for someone. And that was the first time I've ever been involved with something like that. And it opened up a very new concept for me that I can very much take into workforce with me and establish my own mentor connections. Because through this program, I realized how important mentoring is. You develop really personal connections with these people, just not only throughout the program, but outside of program as well. So that is definitely something I can take into the workforce and establish my own role models and mentors who can help me throughout my work.
Yeah, so you have ongoing mentorship. It's not just those 6 weeks. You actually get to keep learning and being guided by someone.
Yeah, exactly. You develop those personal connections outside of the program that you can take wherever you go.
Yeah, great. So back to you, Ian. What has been your highlight of engaging with ventures and obviously particularly iLab?
I think that one of the greatest takeaways through the iLab program is being able to connect with the greater UQ network. I think in my undergraduate studies, I've never even been close to engaging the Queensland community of startups, but not just startups, but the greater Queensland community in a way that I did during my iLab experience. I think Queensland is in that very unique position where it's home to some of the world's most exciting startups. And being in that space and being able to draw from their experience is on a whole different level. I think it's one thing to be able to read books and to gain information without having to spend the decades of researching and doing it yourself. But it's a whole other thing to be hearing it from people within the community who have decades or centuries of experience collectively, to draw on them, on their experience, on what they feel about your idea, your startup, your business concept in that space, and being able to hear from them in real time. I think it's a great opportunity for any startup founder in Queensland.
Yeah, perfect. And the registrations, I think, are opening soon for that for next year. So that's exciting. Anna, you went on our Startup Adventures to San Francisco. We went together. What did you gain out of that sort of for your entrepreneurial journey, and how did that really expand your global networks?
Yeah, so the Startup Adventure really provides you with an incredible opportunity to network. And I think also that's, for me, the key of success, to like build meaningful relationships with people and learn from them. And yeah, I think the most valuable thing was also, as Elsa said before, I found a mentor. I was placed in a startup, but in the end we built this beautiful connection, and I'm still talking to my mentor from San Francisco. We chatted 2 days ago, and yeah, I ended up interviewing her for my thesis, and by the end I pitched my startup idea to her, or shared it with her, and she's like, Anna, that's a fantastic idea. I know 3 other people in that space, and I'm going to connect you with them. And that all started with, UQ Ventures and the Startup Adventure. And also you get to go to, like places like Google or Twitter. And I also met 2 amazing startup founders, one at a Google Launchpad event, another one at an IndieBio pitch event. And I'm still in touch with them. And it's just amazing to see their journey and also to constantly interact. And one of them is about to run a pilot study in the Bahamas, and he was like, oh, Anna, by the way, if you're interested, just come and join us for a little. And I was like, what? And yeah, so it's pretty amazing. And it just starts with one connection, and all of a sudden you have 5 new connections, and you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah, and Anna is a great networker. She actually got a free trip, didn't you, while you were in San Fran to ski?
I ended up being invited to Lake Tahoe to go skiing for free. It was amazing.
Yeah, very savvy networker, this one. So back to you, James. There's obviously been a lot of vulnerabilities that have come to light because of COVID. So off the back of this, do you see any opportunities or industries that are really ripe for change?
I'm going to pick the low-hanging fruit to start with and say water scarcity, because that's what we're here for tonight.
Great one.
There's opportunity, in every day. No, not even if, there's a crisis right in front of us. There's opportunity to, provide people with help, enable them, move funds. There's a lot of opportunity all the time, but crisis does expose a lot of industries which sort of need a little bit of help, or could be easily supported by startups on businesses that are easily adaptable to change in a time like this. If I was to pick a few, obviously there's a few standout ones, such as what will enable certain industries to transfer information a lot faster. You think of the things that come to mind are decentralized finance, also the use of AI and data science to bring in all this information that we seem to be collecting now in the information age, and sort of synthesizing that and giving it to people in a succinct way. There's a lot of room in that sort of space. And then if you think about the sort of sectors that have been hit hardest in the crisis, so you think of aviation, you think of healthcare, you think of education. These are the three things that sort of stand out to me that could be assisted. So yeah, in the aviation sector, I'm not a pilot, so I can't really speculate what would be the best thing to do there. But obviously, you want to help people feel confident that when they get onto a plane, that they're going to get to their destination like they were before the crisis. So how can we best support that? I'm sure there's people working on ideas to sort of solve that. In the education space,
Give yourself a plug. Come on.
Yeah, right. I'm working on something at the moment in the education space because we realised that students couldn't get into the lab both at tertiary and secondary education levels. So we designed an experience-based education simulation so that students could still get a pseudo sort of practical experience online. So we're working on that. And then if you think about the health space, obviously everyone knows that doctors in the hospital and nurses are really struggling with the current situation. So how can you enable them? There's been a lot of money obviously thrown at the successful, UQ COVID vaccine, which fingers crossed, goes successfully through phase 2 and potentially phase 3 later down the line. So there's been a lot of money thrown in the healthcare sector at solving this problem. But there will be a lot of things that come out of this as to whether do we treat things that are virus-like, such as like the flu and a few other conditions? Do we start treating other conditions such as influenza as we have with COVID? Yeah. So just off the top of my head, if you were going into a club, obviously you wouldn't get in with COVID, but do they now start screening people for their temperature if they have other other flu or flu-like symptoms? And will people actually get into venues at the risk of potentially getting other people sick? It's an interesting time, and a lot of change will come out of it in that regard.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. And we were actually discussing before how the last recession, Airbnb, was born because people didn't have the funds to go travelling and they wanted to rent their houses out. So that kind of was like a perfect opportunity for them to just infiltrate the market. And so it will be really interesting to see what kind of things pop up that we didn't expect before.
There's obviously been a whole heap of funds moved in the response to the virus. People can't get to their jobs. They're not as well off. They're going to be looking for ways to save money, use it more effectively. There's going to be a lot of opportunity there for people to jump in and help those people who aren't as well off in the face of the crisis.
Yep, definitely. And we're lucky we have innovators like you solving the world problems. So for you all, what's an area that you see yourselves exploring a little bit more professionally in the next few years? Who would like to start?
I can start with that one, Rachel. Cool. So for me personally, currently second year university, it is a bit of a long-term plan for myself, but eventually this year I've just started exploring around the concept of sustainability and tying that with finance. So up until now, it has always been a concern for me, how do I tie in both my future career goal with something that I'm passionate about? When I tell someone that I do finance, people always go, oh, you're the banker, you're going to take everybody's money. But I just want to do something that ties my passion for sustainability with my future career option. And this year I came across a society called UQ Fints, who focuses on investment with sustainability in mind. And after going to the events, I think this is really a sector that I want to see myself working in a few years, where we tie in sustainable, social and ethical results in with investment or with our finance instruments. So we're liaising these already existing powerful instruments in order to achieve good for the society. And I definitely think that is something that I want to get into in the future.
Great. We'll be watching you. Who would like to answer next? Ian?
Yeah, Rachel, that's a good question. I think where we are in the next 5 years professionally is, without going into too much confidential details, we are looking at an opportunity with white box enterprises, and that's to equip ourselves as founders to be able to be certified, to assess workplace conditions, so that we can build our startup to be more accessible. And just to give a bit of context to that, while we are startup founders, my passion is in normalizing employment with people with disabilities. And so we really wanted to build a startup that can, because the reason why we did startups is because it's hard for someone to enter a huge corporate company and change the company culture from the inside out. And so I thought, why not do it myself as a startup founder? And so we are in a very unique position now where we are getting our through technology and automation, we're making all work processes and manufacturing processes accessible to people of all abilities. And so to be able to work with White Box and to be able to encompass and include people across diverse abilities will really be a big step forward for us as a startup and for myself as a personal goal. So I think in the next 5 years, we are building that startup and showing the world that a global brand can include people of all abilities.
I love that, Ian. Thank you. And you guys, excitingly, I just saw the other day you've brought a product out into Singapore. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. So on the 27th and 28th of November, we are actually bringing Korean Organics regionally. So expanding out of Australia into Singapore, which is a gateway city to a lot of fashion hubs around the world, like Hong Kong, Tokyo, Milan, and Paris. And so we're starting with Singapore next month.
Amazing. Will you get to travel there or probably not?
We might do a virtual tour.
Okay, cool. Just as good. Anna?
So I'm actually not sure yet what exactly I'm going to do, but I'm 100% certain that I'm also going to work in sustainability because that's my passion. And I have two areas that I'm really interested in, and one is actually the agricultural sector because it's so impacted by climate change and they have to face so many challenges right now and in the next few years. And I think there's so much potential for innovation and also technology to help that sector. So that's one area. And then the other one that I'm looking into in my thesis right now as well is to create behavior change towards sustainability. That's also related to the startup idea that I'm currently developing, and I'm looking specifically at technology again and how you can use it to create awareness. So but where exactly that will lead me in the next 5 years, I have no idea. We will see.
Yeah, but you were telling me the other day about the VR headsets and changing behaviours in sustainability. It was something that I just didn't even consider, but...
Yeah, exactly. I think there's so much happening in terms of new technologies and innovation, and you can really use that, to do good and to create change in a positive way. And that's in the end what I want to do.
And your mentor from San Francisco is going to connect you with someone from Google, is that right?
Yeah, that was actually such a surprise. I told her about my idea, and by the end she was like, oh, actually, you know what? I know someone working in that space. I was coaching these people at Google. Do you want to talk to them? I was like, oh, that was unexpected. Maybe, yes. So we'll see what's going to happen because that just happened this week. It's
very exciting.
Very exciting.
Cool. And James?
Do you mind refreshing me with the question? It's
So
been a
what
while.
kind of, I guess, what's an area of interest you see yourself going in the next couple of years?
Yeah, cool. Okay. So I'm bit of background. So I've got a year left in my PhD, and what I learned from my undergrad, which will help me pave my direction forward, was that I'm terrible at tests. Things, assignments, thumbs up. Tests,
I
thumbs
agree.
down.
I'm with you.
So testing, if I wanted to do medicine, I probably wouldn't enjoy the testing there. So I probably don't see myself going down that path. But what I would say is this is a little plug for higher degree research, specifically at UQ. If you can do a higher degree program, what it does teach you, and which unfortunately I didn't learn until I really started the program, is you learn to learn when you do a higher degree research program. I felt like I didn't have those skills necessarily in undergrad, and that's probably my own fault. But when you get to a higher degree program, you start to learn the things that are essential for that sort of degree, which is project management, doing your own research, to figuring out what is the boundary in terms of the area you're researching, because no one else in the world is really doing what you're doing. You're pushing the boundary, so you need to go and figure out, all right, so that and that together, that's what's known. What above that is the next step. So there's a lot of things that have come out of the program, and I've sort of figured out what I'm better at and what I'm not so good at. But the program has really taught me a whole variety of skills, and that's why I've really sort of jumped into this entrepreneurial side of thing as well, because it teaches you a broad range of skills. So if I was to stick in the health space, I'm going to say that potentially, off the cuff, that in the next 20 to 30 years, we'll probably have a cure for aging. So I would be really interested to jump into that space. I currently work on cancer research. I would love to stick in that space and, like to see, zero cancer by 2050 or 2070, which I don't think is unreasonable. But I would love to definitely pick up a few other skills down the line, whether I jump laterally into consulting to figure out how companies really work at the ground level, and then apply that to potential startup ideas that I have. At the end of the day, I would say I'm going to try and pick up as many skills as possible to make me, a well-rounded person who can execute a job well, and enjoy the time that I do, that I enjoy myself, as I go through that process, and where that leads me, I have no idea. So yeah, we'll see.
I think, that's the beauty at the moment. Things are always changing, and you just explore a bit here and explore a bit there and to see where it leads you. Yeah. Cool. So just quickly to wrap up, how has your mindset changed engaging in the startup space?
Good question. I'm just going to quickly say that in the interest of time, the startup space just taught me a whole range of skills. I'm going to repeat myself. So everything that I learned in a research higher degree program, I learned through startups. So if you can get involved in startups, thumbs up to you.
Again, adapt to change, be flexible, and also it's quite chaotic working in the startup space. So I think that's something you really need to navigate. You need to, there's so many different things happening, and you need to somehow manage, you're not just in marketing, or all of a sudden you're also in HR, and you need to come up with a strategy. There's so many different things you need to manage at the same time while everything seems to be uncertain. And that's what you really learn.
Yeah.
My participation in Leaders has really taught me how to establish those vital connections, both within the workplace and outside of the workplace. Because of COVID this year, we weren't able to go face-to-face during these events. So Zoom came really handy, but it was just really hard establishing a really personal connection with someone where you're just looking at their face. And without actually going out, grabbing a cup of coffee, that was really hard. However, as COVID has made it very clear to us, online working is very, very possible. A lot of firms will actually move online with some of their staff. And so I think it's really important to be able to establish connections both in person and online. Wherever you are, I think those personal connections are really important. And that's one of the major things I got out of the program.
Cool.
I think in the startup space, everyone is kind of like a rubber band. You're stretched to your extremes. You grow as much as you can in this short period of time. And I think that one of the greatest takeaways for me in that space was to have a higher level of discernment and judgment, because you're in a very you're like a sponge. You're absorbing information as much as you can, and you hear 100 different voices at once. You have to be able to discern which voice to hear, which voice to listen to, and to understand the perspective. But you have to decide for yourself what is best for your startup, what's best for you as a founder, and what's best moving forward.
Great. Well, that's all we have time for, but thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Now I would like to introduce Andrew Kingsford, General Manager of WaterStart. UQ Ventures has partnered with WaterStart for the inaugural Ventures Industry Challenge, putting students to the task of developing solutions for real-world problems, water scarcity. In his extensive career, Andrew has pioneered major business change programs and is business, technology and an innovation specialist. With a commitment to solving problems and a passion for innovation, Andrew and WaterStart have been great collaborators on the first Ventures Industry Challenge, bringing students together with academics and industry to identify opportunities and solutions to save one of the world's most precious resources. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Rachel. Welcome, everyone. It is my great pleasure to take over moderating for the second part of the event this evening. We will soon be hearing the top 5 pitches from the Ventures Industry Challenge. But first, I would like to give you just a bit of a background on the challenge. At WaterStart, we are passionate about innovation, and this new initiative has been a perfect fit for us. Over the past few months, we've had the pleasure of participating in the process, including the initial information sessions where representatives from our member organisations, Urban Utilities, SEQ Water and Unity Water, all outlined to students the context of the challenges surrounding water scarcity. From the catchments through to wastewater and recycling to community livability, the challenges are immense, but the opportunities are terrific. Through the scheduled mentor and Q&A sessions, we were pleased to meet many really smart, engaged and inquiring students working hard to tackle the water scarcity challenge from a wide range of perspectives. This has been really inspiring for us. It's a great opportunity to engage with so many students from different disciplines and seeing them come up with questions and ideas that we may never have thought about. There is such great value in building multidisciplinary teams, and the exciting way that we can look at the Queensland University and building the entrepreneurial skills of students and providing opportunities for engagement across university research and industry organisations. We are delighted to see the finalists pitch tonight. Now, we are joined this evening by some amazing judges. Firstly, I would like to welcome Lisa Jenkinson, the Director of Digital Delta at KPMG, where Lisa leads the Innovation and Digital Solutions practice for KPMG in Queensland. Part of the national KPMG team that drives ideation, incubates new products and services, builds new opportunities for commercialisation, and coordinates new tech-enabled products, solutions, and emerging tech capabilities for her clients. I would also like to welcome Associate Professor Stephen Kenway from UQ's Advanced Water Management Centre. Water Management, an internationally recognised centre of excellence in innovative water technology and management. Stephen is a research group leader on water, energy, carbon, with over 30 years' experience in senior roles in academia, CSIRO, industry, government and consulting. Next, we have Daniel Harris, the Director of Innovation, Science and Water Policy Programs at the Department of Natural Resources, Mines and Energy. Daniel has over 20 years' experience in the water industry, working in technical, water and planning and policy roles. And last and not least, I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Jessica Gallagher, the Pro Vice-Chancellor, Global Engagement and Entrepreneurship at the University of Queensland. Dr. Gallagher is responsible for driving UQ's institutional partnerships and strategic and engagement initiatives, and also leads the implementation of UQ's entrepreneurship strategy, including UQ Ventures programs. Welcome, judges, and we appreciate you being here tonight. Well, the time has finally come. It is with great pleasure I introduce Alice from Droplets for our first pitch of this evening.
Would you use a pool cover that looks like this? Well, if your answer is no, you're not alone. Our research shows that pool owners perceive pool covers as ugly, making the backyard very, very ugly. In the Unity Water Service area alone, there are 60,000 swimming pools, and only 10% have a cover. Without a cover, each pool loses 55 litres of water every day, which is over 1 billion in a year. Research shows that pool owners are mostly affluent people who communicate the lifestyle choices, the social status with the lifestyle choices. These users are unlikely to compromise lifestyle and aesthetics to be frugal with water. And they do not respond to educational campaigns and financial incentives. Our solution combines the need to save water by covering the pool with the need to appeal to affluent pool owners. How? Creating the first pool cover that is a unique art piece. Our solution, Cloud Monet, marries the best in the market smart pool covers with unique art pieces commissioned specifically for each cover. Cloud Monet acts as a bridge between affluent pool owners and emerging artists to find the best fit for customers' vision. With Cloud Monet, pool owners will improve the appearance of their garden and express their fine taste in art. Water utilities will benefit from our product by engaging with the currently disengaged community. We tested our products by interviewing affluent pool owners who endorsed our solution because they see it as a premium feature to beautify the garden and not as a water-saving device. The best in the market smart pool cover costs around $20,000. We estimate that with 20,000 potential customers in the Sunshine Coast alone, a 10% profit margin of $2,000 per cover, and an expected expansion in the US and the Middle East, our profit can grow from 40 million to 15 billion in 10 years. Cloud Monet is the Tesla of pool covers. Beautiful, functional, trendy, and exclusive. And now we need your help to take it to market. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice, and well done. It's never easy being the first one, Alice, is it?
Definitely not.
Now, let's go to our judges. Lisa, did you have a question?
Well, firstly, thank you so much, Alice. That was a great presentation and really quite blown away by some of the things you outlined there. I can relate to seeing ugly pool covers, but I had no idea of the amount of water loss from those every day. So it's great to hear that you've really understood the problem. You spoke a lot about affluent customers, and clearly we always have to start really focused in terms of our customer segment.
Yes.
But I'm keen to understand the link between the amount of the affluent customer pool and the broader market that you described in terms, can you talk a little bit about the other segments that you may have looked at?
Yes. Beata, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I guess it was a very opportune moment for us to start looking at this particular problem with pool covers and swimming pools, because it's pretty well established that high-income earners actually use a lot of water. But what was new, there are two research that came, pieces of research that came in the last 2 years that kind of informed our understanding of the customer segment or high-income pool owners. So the first one is Roy Morgan, which is a market research company. They conducted a survey on a sample of 15,000 Australians and established 54 helix personas, so kind of they segmented the market in Australia to those 55 personas. Therefore, and they found out that there is one persona which is leading lifestyles, that's how it's called, which takes 21% of all swim pool owners are actually this persona. And they revealed, the research reveals what are the values, what are their motivations, and how their behavior can be actually changed. So that was very helpful for us. And the other one, actually the other research comes from academia and kind of complemented that research, comes from Paul Satur from Monash University, who looked at inequality and water use, and found out that he actually investigated what are the meanings that high-income earners associate with water use, and showing therefore what incentives would work on them and which ones would not. So that informed our understanding that we really have to create something that would be desirable for them rather than, for example, educate them. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Stephen, a question from yourself.
Is that to turn it on? I think that's fine. Can anyone hear that? I know these guys very well, and I just wanted to relax them. They know I'm not judging them. And so can you perhaps tell us how you came up with your T-shirt?
It's our logo. Yes, that's our logo.
But as a team, how did you decide on it?
Well, because it's art, we use the word, of course, Monet, and cloud is something that covers, and it also refers to water, and cloud Monet. And yes.
And then also the cloud is also representing abundant supply of water. So that's the idea.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. And Jess, over to you.
Fantastic idea. Congratulations, guys. I think this is amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about cost of productions and whether you've done any work to think about how, supply chains and how you would go about producing these?
So there are different alternatives for this. If you look at the other products similar to what we are presenting, they roughly cost around 2,000 Australian dollars, and it's really 20,000. Yes, 20,000 Australian dollars, and really depends on the pool size. So there's no definite figure for that.
Mm-hmm. But yes, our idea is to get really the best we can find in the market. So it has to be technically perfect. It's a smart pool, so we can program it. So we also reduce the issue with algal bloom because we can open it at night when we do not have evaporation. Mm-hmm. So we are targeting that kind of pool covers. And what we want is to make them unique with this art painting on top of them.
Great, thanks.
And Daniel, a final question from yourself.
Sure, thanks. Great presentation, really innovative idea. I think it's fantastic. Just some questions. We're talking about water scarcity. So I was just wondering if you've done any research into potential water savings that might be made, and then how that translates to the customer on their water bill and any savings that they might make there.
So some of the famous solutions to drought in the millennial drought was water efficient fixtures and water restrictions. So we found an area that was untapped, which is covering the pool. So we did a calculation, and for one pool we can save 51 litres of water per day. 55. So there are nearly 60,000 pools in Sunshine Coast alone. So if we cover all the pools with our Cloud Monet, there's a possibility of saving 2 billion water per year. So that's our calculation.
Just to add to that answer, pool covers, it depends, but usually save 90% of evaporative loss of a pool, and around between 40 to 60% of the energy required for heating, and about 30 to 40% for chemical uses. And we suspect Cloud Monet would do the same saving.
Yeah, but beautifully.
And on the customer aspect, we really want to stress that we have understanding this persona. We are talking about high income earners over 130,000 income per year. We believe that they wouldn't be that much motivated by the change to their bill, because we discovered also in the research that often they are not fully aware how much water they're using. So,
I can only suggest if there's a mobile FPOS thing, I'm going to buy one. That's awesome. Congratulations, Team Droplets. Now, for our second pitch of this evening, we'll be hearing from Abel from Water is Life. Welcome, team.
Good evening. My name is Abel, and I am representing Team Water is Life. Today, we want to share with you our innovation business around this tiny aquatic plant, better known as Duckweed. Do you think that this little plant can help us to solve water-related problems? For us, the answer is definitely yes. And today, we want to introduce 3 different problems that can be addressed with this plant. First, in recent years, agriculture has been impacted by several shortages of water supply in some regions of the country. And this is getting even worse year by year, driven by climate change. Second, some businesses have some problems to reduce excess of nutrient in water resources. And third, some farmers have some struggles to find a cost-effective solution to reduce evaporation from their own water reservoirs. Now, today we will only talk about water scarcity, water quality, and Duckweed solving those problems, but at the same time. Now the question is, why Duckweed? Well, we have identified several advantages of this plant. For instance, rapid growth, amazing ability to reduce excess of nutrient dissolved in water, and a highly contained of protein inside the plant, among other interesting features. But what really caught our attention is the overlooked 92% of clean content of water inside the plant. This could be the bridge that connects the water scarcity, water quality problems. The idea is to harvest this plant when water quality is a concern. As a byproduct, we can obtain food. On the other side of the chain, we can use the duckweed to feed animals, but without drying it. This could lead to the reduction of amount of water the farmers need to supply their animals. What makes this idea so unique? Looking at the plant as a natural filter and natural reservoir of water is something that is not seen yet. And this idea is absolutely viable because duckweed for treating water is already well studied, and even the FAO recognized the highly nutritional content of duckweed. Well, finally, obtaining food as a byproduct of treated water is already an amazing feature, but that can be even greater if you combine the situation when water is scarce and the clean content of water of the plant can be another byproduct, absolutely boosting the added value of this solution. Thank you very much for your attention, and now we are open to questions.
You haven't managed to get that from my pool, have you? Well done, team, and thank you, Abel. Now we'd just like to ask from our judges. Daniel, would you like to go first?
Sure. This is an interesting idea. I think it's got some great value in that you're able to provide clean water as well as provide a food source, which is, hitting 2 different sets of markets there. Have you done any research into the costs around, removing it and and those impacts that might occur when it comes to the broader supply of water, so that you've got those flow-on cost imposts when it comes to taking the water into a treatment plant and then distributing that out, and being able to deal with the duckweed in that aspect.
At the moment, we haven't done any economical study yet, but one interesting feature of the plant is not necessarily it could be harvested in sewage water treatment plant, but also can be used on site in the own farms. This problem about excess of nutrient is not only for sewage; it is also a concern among farmers. But the main driver that can move or to make it a good or bad decision economically talking is the cost of moving the plant from one point to another. Our idea initially is to convince sewage people or sewage water treatment plants that are really near to the farms to reduce the cost of transportation.
And of course, no ducks were harmed in the making of this particular substance. I think something like that. Jess, how about a question from yourself?
Great pitch, guys. Fantastic. Just curious, because you mentioned obviously that this is an issue for farmers, and I wondered the extent to which you'd done any validation and sort of actually talking to them about how they would go about sort of implementing this solution on farms.
At the moment, we haven't talking personally with people or farmers, but we know about projects in other countries, especially and we know about a project in Spain that is related with the excess of nutrient with pigs. And they are actually doing a circular economy around the manure of the pigs, some content of water, using the duckweed to absorb the nutrients. But they are only focusing on feeding the animals. But they are not looking at the clean content of water of the plant. But the approach is already developed in other areas. Even in my country, in Chile, there is a project that is only focused on harvesting duckweed. But again, it's only for dry duckweed to feed animals. And even the FIO recognized that duckweed can be used for human consumption as well. It's a rich source of vitamin A and B group, actually.
Thanks, Jess.
Okay. Other application of the plant, it can be used to reduce evaporation in the pool, because when the plant cover the water surface, so it reduces the evaporation of the water to the atmosphere. At the same time, this plant can be used for biofuel production. So it has so many applications. We just scope our project to the agricultural sector.
Terrific. And Lisa, a question from yourself.
Yeah, just thanks very much for your presentation. I'm not much of a green thumb, but I'm keen to understand, are there particular climatic conditions that the duckweed thrives in, just in terms of understanding the total addressable market, water treatment plants worldwide?
Duckweed can be thrive in tropical and subtropical conditions, but actually it's really let's say hard in terms of the plant. It's really hard to, and it's naturally found here in Australia as well. Even it's so great the amount of the multiplication ratio that can be a problem in the natural environment. It is actually can be a plague.
Thank you.
And Stephen, last but not least.
Fantastic presentation. Well done, guys. There are many rivers in Queensland and Australia where other weeds, aquatic weeds, are already floating. And so I guess I've got two questions, if that's okay. How did you, in many rivers, you can't even canoe down them now, the weed is so thick. So I think there's a definite opportunity for harvesting this sort of product. But question one is, how did you pick duckweed? And then how are you going to scale the product up? Like, how are you going to create a value stream from your product?
Yeah. Depending on the size of the project, because as we said, not only can be applied in sewage, can also be applied in their own farmers. site. There is kind of machine that can continuously harvest the plant as it is growing, and you have to do the mathematical and engineering about make it sure that the rate of growth is the same that you are harvesting, but that you can do it mechanically. One of the interesting features of the plant compared with algae, this is a floating plant. You can even catch it with a net in the more easy way, but you can do a mechanical, you can create a mechanical condition to make it automatically harvest. But again, it depends on the size. It can even be harvested with a net that the farmer, we can pay someone to be able to do that continuously.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tim, I am so lucky that my wife is not here tonight because I would be having duckweed 7 nights a week. So, well done. A big hand of applause for Water is Life. Thank you, Abel. Up next, we have Charming from the Advanced Water Treatment Team. Welcome, team.
Good evening, everyone. The problem of water scarcity brings us together today. Sorry. But I have to say, I was a slacker on this issue. In our survey, we found that many other people have the same trouble with us. They have a sense of water conservation and tried water-saving measures before. But it takes 3 months to know the effect. This is too long. How to solve this? Our team is committed to saving one of the world's most precious resources by making everyone know how much water they are using and making everyone participate in water conservation. So, today, I'm going to introduce our product, a mobile app that works with smart water meter and cloud computing. Cloud computing analyzes data that's collected from the smart water meter and sends the result to the app. Our app has 3 main functions. First, you can see real-time and cumulative water consumption data on the panel, like the volume and phase, and the average water usage of other countries is compared with yours. So when you access the average, the color of value will turn orange to remind you. So through this design, not only can we help the household manage the way they use water, but also the budget. Second, we use data visualization to improve user experience. Through this design, the people, they may get sense of achievement and are willing to share it on social media to attract more people involved. Last but not least, we will regularly push some news about environmental protection to get people feel they are truly involved, and we believe that they will be inspired after hearing good news. So let's talk about feasibility. Well, who doesn't like free stuffs? Our app is free for everyone to download. Besides, we hope to cooperate with water companies to provide water meter upgrade service, because this can create a win-win situation between customers and the water companies. Another thing is that this can also help people develop awareness of water conservation, thereby alleviating the increasing pressure on water resources. Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Charming, you know, I'm going to download the app tonight, because I reckon if we could get my wife to, you know, have less time in the shower, that could be pretty amazing. So well done. And thanks very much, Charming. Now over to the judges again. This time, Daniel, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. Great idea. I think there's some ideas already out there in the space that I think having the ability for people to look at what they're saving in terms of dollars and water is really innovative and a good addition to what's already available. In terms of smart meters and those sorts of things, they're not widely used in Queensland or Australia at the moment. I was wondering if you did any work into determining what the rollout costs might be to implement such an app.
Pardon? I didn't catch that.
Have you done any research into what the overall cost would be? Because we've got a free app, so smart meters aren't something that is used a lot by water service providers.
Yeah, we have searched some document before, like if someone is damaged the water meter, because now it's the normal water meter, they need to pay $250. So we just guess the price is like around there, and we also did some surveys to ask the students or householder. They can accept the normal price of our smart water meter is like around 100, and the reason why I mentioned in my presentation that we want to cooperate with the water company is that this can create a win-win situation, because we can bring the benefits to water company. Why? Because they can reduce labor cost. I have known now water companies, they have employing the meter readers to like copy the value of the water usage. So after water company use our app, they can collecting and sending bills to usage directly through our platform. So I think the water company can like give some distance to householder by using our smart water meter. Yeah, hope this answers your question.
Yes, thank you. That's good.
Thanks, Dan. Stephen, would you like to ask a question?
Fantastic. Fantastic idea, and I love the idea of saving the water, and lovely slides and presentation. Quick question, our federal government in a hurry, responding to coronavirus, came up with an app, but it didn't work unless you had it running and in your pocket. So will this one need to be running while it's in your pocket?
Yeah, of course, because it's just an app that can install to your phone, so you can just look at it anywhere, anytime. So yeah, of course, you can just look at it in your pocket. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen.
I've probably got just a quick follow-on from that. I think, there's obviously lots of apps out there, and, there was obviously a little bit of resistance from parts of the community around downloading the app and engaging with it. And I wonder, on the point around engagement, if you could expand a little bit more around the customer research. So any qualitative research you've done with householders or tenants, really to understand the things that would make them want to engage with something like that, gamification perhaps, things that drive that sense of community and belonging.
I didn't know what the specific.
So it's more around how do you get people to engage with the application initially, and how do you sustain it on an ongoing basis?
Maybe like after we develop this app, I think firstly it's an easy way to promote our app because it's free. Like I said just now, nobody like the free stuffs. So, and the second thing is that maybe many people, they cannot accept our smart water meter directly because the price maybe is high, or someone just, they don't like that. So we prefer to provide a 3 months free trial for them to make them form a habit to check their water usage every day, because I believe almost everyone now have sense of water conservation, but they just don't know how to save water. So after they form this habit of checking the water usage every day, maybe after 3 months, they prefer to buy it. So yeah. That's our promotion.
Thank you. And Lisa, Jess, a final question from yourself.
Congratulations, it's a really great idea, and I think I can see how you could gamify this to make it really interesting as a learning tool for children and for broader society. I just wondered whether you had even thought about even partnership opportunities. So would there be the potential of maybe even working with developers so that they install the types of readers that you need, and could then sell this as something that helps their clients or consumers become more sustainable? Have you given any thought to that?
Actually, because now, we found we asked some local people and just searched some documents that in Australia, many people living in apartment, they use the same one water meter. So, and this is provided by the government or the water company. So we think we still want to make water company or the government to install this water meter, and we cooperate with them because we provide or share our idea to them. Mm-hmm. But because they familiar with the current situation, so we just share our idea, and they also do their job. I think this is our answer.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges, and congratulations to Ping and the team. And now for our fourth pitch this evening, we have Rashmi from Watec. Welcome, team.
My friend Jessica is a growing entrepreneur. Her day starts with an active run and ends with an exotic dinner at a restaurant. In pre-COVID world, travel was her cup of tea, along with an active lifestyle. Diarrhea, dysentery, and cholera became frequent visitors to her life. So, what did Jessica fail to notice? It was water. Water she drank from water fountain, water she consumed at restaurants, and water which she drank while traveling the world. See, we all have been there. So, how many of us are sure that the water we drink is safe? The bigger problem is the drinking water getting contaminated from point of production to the point of consumption by pollutants like radiological, biological, chemical, and physical substances. To address this problem, we present to you our product, Watec. See what you drink, providing smart solution to know your water better and allowing you to consume water with confidence. Our dynamic platform captures the measured water quality parameters like pH, turbidness, electrical conductivity, and color from various water retailers. It evaluates the water quality with respect to the drinking water guideline. The evaluated results can be viewed at the point of consumption through Watec sensor using QR code. Our potential customers are water retailers and hospitality sector. We believe direct B2B selling along with an annual subscription model will work best for our product. It was interesting to find out that 90% of the end users would like to know the water quality before they consume, and 85% of our customers would like to use Watec sensor to improve their brand reliability and monitor the water quality. By using Watec sensor, we aim to prevent waterborne diseases and in future enable individuals to track and manage the water usage and save potable water, thus facilitating a transparent network allowing individuals to know their water better. Thank you.
Excellent. And over to our judges for our first question. Jess, would you like to go first?
Sure. Fantastic pitch and great idea. I am somebody who has been the victim of a waterborne illness, and it wasn't very pretty, let me tell you that. So talk me through the technology here. So how does this work exactly?
The Watec sensors will be present at the point of collection, where like with our water retailers, where they actually measure the water quality. So our Watec sensors will be capturing those water quality parameters, and also at the point of consumption, like water fountains and everything, we'll have a sensor over there as well. So along the line, there's like a lot of chances of water being polluted and contaminated. So it will evaluate the quality of water at the point of production and at the point of consumption. And if there is a discrepancy and it is not in the permissible limit of drinking water, it will flag it to the customers. And they will know that there is a problem in the water and they should be aware of it.
That's great.
Awesome. Daniel, a question from yourself.
Sure. I think that's a great pitch, and I think it's a fantastic idea because it will help water service providers get an understanding of their networks and the water quality within their networks, and enable them to respond to any issues that they might come across. So I think that's a great idea. Just wondering, with the theme being water scarcity, how much water savings do you think there is in this technology?
So right now, we have there is a future in which we do the water saving. For example, first we start educating people about the quality of water they're drinking, they're using. So if I see that the water which I'm using is a potable drinking water, and the water which is there at a different location is not a drinking water, so I will rather try to save that water and use the other water for more like washing purposes. So people will be aware of the whole water quality, and they will make educated choices. With this product, we are actually educating people and giving them the power to know make this whole network more transparent, because right now they are not aware of whatever they're consuming.
Okay.
Oh, putting power and education in our hands. I like it. Stephen, over to you.
I really enjoyed the presentation, and I think that sensors and information management is absolute key, not just for water distribution, but here in southeast Queensland we built $1.5 billion of recycled water pipeline to put the water treated sewage back up into the water supply as purified recycled water. So one of the major issues with that is how you track the quality through the system. So if you could implementing online real-time water quality monitoring is a critical part of that. So I'd see your product moving into other areas. Could you perhaps tell us a little bit about the market, the value stream? So how are you going to make money out of this?
Yes. So we have spoken to water retailers in Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, India, and they actually spoke about the water problem and the customers as well. Like, they don't trust. So they are really happy to have some product like this, which could, seamlessly transfer and tell what water quality they are selling to the other customer. So we believe, taking that as an advantage and using direct selling model will actually help us. And also we did a little bit research on actually cost of the water sensors as well. So there are a few water sensors which detect the pH, turbidity, and electrical conductivity. So we can actually use those existing sensors and also get more information about the color and the bacterial, because right now the most important problem is getting contaminated with the bacteria. So if with the Watec, we aim to get that area as well. And in future, if you're able to tap it down, so we can have like an end-to-end, all the 4 categories to know our water quality. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. And final question from you.
Look, I think it's a great idea, and I can see multiple different potential revenue streams in that business model. I'd like to just sort of understand a little bit better. 98% of customers wanting to know about water quality. Are there particular high-risk segments within that you delved a little bit deeper and really trying to understand, who are those segments and what is their willingness to pay?
Yes. So with the end users, these are the 90% of the end users who are willing to use this product. But for them, this is basically an application which will be there on their phone, which they can scan the QR code and find out the water quality. So for them, it's free of service, but for the water retailers, water suppliers, we are actually selling it to them. So for them, it's free of service, and when we actually spoke to them, especially people in Southeast Asia, they suffer from a lot of waterborne diseases, and it is not very pleasant to actually go through that. So giving them the power to know this whole process will be actually good, and also providing them this whole process will help them, get to know about the water quality and actually challenge it. When you said about the business model and the amount of revenues there, so people don't have to actually pay the end users. The only people who are paying is the water retailers and the suppliers.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about that. And also for the hospitality industry, I forgot to touch base on that. So there are restaurants all across, and they don't know their water quality, and people just blindly trust them. And some of them, they even complain about the water quality. So hospitality will be one of our major clients as well, who can actually use this product, and then we can generate revenue from that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rashmi, the judges are asking tough questions, aren't they? They're doing a great job. A round of applause for Rashmi and the team.
Thanks.
For our fifth and final pitch for this evening, I would like to welcome Natalia from Team Sol. Welcome, Natalia.
Thank you. The results are in. Our surveys show that 90% of homeowners want to save water, but they simply do not know how much water they are using for different daily activities and are unsure how to implement water-saving plans that complement their lifestyle. Our solution is what you have all been waiting for. It will revolutionise new technology and set forth the new green economy to give power back to homeowners. Introducing a smart water meter like you've never seen before. It informs when, where, and how much water you are using throughout your home, such as during showering or gardening. It works by attaching to water outlets such as shower heads or faucets with an inbuilt automated shut-off valve which controls and measures the rate of water throughout your home. The device is accompanied by a Wi-Fi accessible app that tracks daily water use and predicts future water use using machine learning technology. The primary feature of this app is to recommend water-saving plans based off your own personal water consumption. For example, you use 100 litres of watering for showering. The app will recommend a customizable plan that can be activated, optimized, or declined, such as 3 minutes of normal showering, followed by 2 minutes with 25% reduced shower pressure with cutoff at 5 minutes. This can be activated or optimized for your own benefit. The app will also display how much water and money you will save if you choose to activate this wise water plan. To spark community engagement, the app also allows you to compare your water use to others in your community, just like fitness apps. This will entice healthy competition and also act as a platform for neighbours to share water-saving tips, allowing community effort to reach water security goals. The device plus the app is designed to do the thinking and doing for you. The simplicity of the system is one of its biggest benefits. Just install, download, and save water and money. This is why our solution meets the needs of homeowners and far exceeds any competition. Our solution creates lasting, impactful changes and gives homeowners the power to be educated and informed about their own water use so that they can make educated decisions in their own homes. Our target price point is $1,000, followed by a $10 monthly subscription so that it remains affordable for all homeowners. From this, we predict a break-even within 2 to 3 years. We believe we will have the support of government initiatives and environmental support groups, as the savings are astronomical. Just one household will save 40,000 litres in just 3 months. Imagine all of Australia. Together, we could save enough water to fill the Gabba 42,000 times in just 3 months. Imagine the improvement of our water bills. Our team cares about households. We care about the environment, and we believe that with your support, we can see a solution that extends far beyond this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the solution. We just need your support. Are you in?
I'm thinking about this for my wife, just turning it off while she's in the shower. Just perfect, just perfect. Lisa, would you like to kick us off for our first question?
Well, thank you very much. Very energetic presentation and really enjoyable. I think at this rate, urban utilities might need a new business model as well. I would like to understand a little bit more about the smart device. Is that something that you put on each tap in your home, or is it at the meter? Just in terms of that $1,000 price point, and if people have got more in their home, does it increase? Just trying to understand the dynamic there.
Yeah, so that's a really good question, actually. So at the moment, we're thinking about replacing the smart water meter and having faucet devices, so we can measure the output as well as the input, and that would help regulate the water use. So we devised a $1,000 startup plan from competitors. So from averaging out all the competitors, we found that $1,000 is the main price for the average household. As you said, so a bigger house, there will be more devices, so it will scale up depending on the household, but we're starting off at $1,000. We also want to make it affordable, so to be affordable by the main house owner, so families of 3 to 4 members. So yeah, that's where we came up with the price, and that's what we're targeting.
Great, thank you.
Stephen.
Yeah, I've got teenagers as well, so I'm ready to buy it because I know. And I guess the 2 to 3 year payback. A quick question: did you factor in the energy savings? So, for example, in showers, there's a lot of hot water for energy. Did you include that in your payback period?
We haven't actually sort of incorporated that part of the sector yet.
I'll just cut you off there. Not the utilities aren't even doing that at the moment. Okay. So, but I think you'll find there's even more savings from the energy side.
Yes, definitely,
yeah. But sorry, that was a bit of a trick question. My real question is, what's the source of your data? And so, you've got in smart meters, you're measuring pulses of water. How are you going to turn that into a signal of saving of water from the different end users, so that you actually can quantify how much you're saving and generate the plots and graphs that you've got there? So, but again, great, fantastic presentation. It's a tricky question again.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
So the question is, how are you going to turn the signal of your pulses from your smart meter into actual end uses of water, so you know what's being saved and where?
So each device on the outlets, they will have a transmitter, which then transmits to a central hub in the household, which is there's also a transmitter on the inlet as well. So just the comparison of data for what's going in and what's coming out is able to...
Okay. So that's a new approach to the more centralised meters that measure the pulse and turn the shape of the pulse into an end use by having a multi-meter approach. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Daniel, your turn.
Sure. Sort of going on the energy theme, we've seen in Queensland where we've used incentives to encourage people to use solar. In thinking about that sort of initial cost, the $1,000 and then the $10 subscription, have you thought about any incentive schemes that might actually get people on board with this sooner and enable them to sort of offset their savings through their water bill?
So with the incentives, that's one of our main things we are aiming for, is to obtain those incentives from the government to get more people on board. So initially, we would want to run our prototype through a trial run to sort of attract that whole media behind it, to sort of promote our product further. Then hopefully that would then get the government on board, which would then continue from there, I guess.
Yeah, so our competitor Numita actually did exactly that. So that's in South Australia, I'm pretty sure, and they got the government initiative and actually got on the news. So if they can do it, we assume we can do it as well, and that created a massive movement for saving water. But they just couldn't bridge the gap between telling people how to save water and actually getting them to save water. That's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we really think the device speaks for itself. We did choose that target price point of $1,000 because we do think that is affordable for the majority of homeowners. And all the benefits that you can get, just like you mentioned with the solar panels, to begin with, that was like a foreign idea, so it started off a bit slowly, but once people started seeing the benefits of that, you see solar panels all over UQ, all over different people's homes and things like that. So we really think that just a little bit of media coverage and really emphasizing those results, I think it'll speak for themselves. And, you know, Australia, who, you know, a lot of people want to save water, we're very, very conscious of the environment. We want to contribute to a better global health and things like that. So I think using our product alone, it will definitely pick up.
Great, thank you.
And Jess, our final question.
Fantastic pitch. I really liked the concept. So just drawing back into how it's one thing to have the technology and the information, it's another thing to actually make people save water.
Yeah.
I liked the element of being able to almost compete. And so I've got very competitive children, so I could imagine how this would work. So just thinking in terms of the actual platform that you're using, is there opportunities to sort of gamify that so that it becomes an educational tool? It could be a way of engaging. You could use it as an educational tool. Have you thought through that?
Yeah, definitely have thought through that a lot. I think there's so many applications that this could be for homes, farms, so many things. For children, we also thought about the flexibility of this is incredible. So, for example, you could have a picture. This is an idea. A picture. You have a picture, and as you save water, as your home saves water, the picture is slowly revealed to the kids. So they're very excited each day to see, what is the next picture going to be for the next week or something like that. And then you can compete against universities, you can compete against schools, have a competitive leaderboard on the app against neighbours. Like, it can be anonymous if you want, but it doesn't have to be. So there's so much flexibility, and that's why we think that this is honestly a really great idea that can have a really good impact for all different age groups within the home. So yeah.
Forget the kids, I want to look at the pictures. It's great. Well done, Team Soul.
Thank you.
And I would like to give everybody a formal congratulations for all their pictures tonight. Well done. Thank you, judges, for your very detailed and difficult questions. I'm glad it was you guys and not me having to answer those questions. But now is the time for our judges to go and moderate and have a look at your individual scores and then discuss the final results. Ooh, it's getting close, team. Are you nervous? I'm nervous. While our judges are making their final decisions, I would like to introduce Nimrod Clayman, who's the head of ventures at UQ, who will be talking about 2021 and what is happening next with ventures. Welcome, Nimrod.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrew. Tonight really sums up the entrepreneurial spirit of the UQ community. Of course, this is just a taste of what happened in 2020, and we have even more planned for 2021 and beyond. Despite the disruption and uncertainties we have been faced with this year, the UQ Ventures team rapidly pivoted to deliver all core entrepreneurship programs online from late March this year. In taking the programs online, the team created a suite of new digital materials, managed to connect with a wide range of new global mentors and speakers, and continue to evolve and improve sessions and workshops to meet the needs of students and maintain high level of engagement. The iLab Accelerator, through Ventures, UQ supports entrepreneurs to generate and action ideas in response to identified needs and opportunities. This includes building creative problem solving, design thinking, negotiation, communication, and leadership skills that may be applied within an existing organization or in the creation of a new one. The iLab Accelerator is part of UQ Ventures' broad investment in entrepreneurship in creating environment for our students, alumni, staff, and researchers to be well prepared for an unknown world where entrepreneurial mindset, one that can recognize and create new value propositions. Through our iLab Accelerator, more than 200 startups have been supported since 2012, attracting around 90 million in investment and grants, and keep growing. I'd now like to take you behind the scenes and play a short video featuring our latest iLab cohort.
Stories is really important, and part of that is about what we often do is we look at other people and we think to ourselves, I could never be like that, or I could never do that. But what happens once we start to hear people's stories is we realise that the people that we look at and often think are extraordinary and are amazing, that we could never be like, are actually just like us, that their stories are really similar to ours.
Hearing about the stories of what people are doing is really, really inspiring, especially to people who are coming up, the younger generation. I was inspired to get into what I'm doing, into engineering, by seeing other people do exciting things like SpaceX, like the space shuttle missions. And so I hope that through hearing our story, other young kids will be inspired to get into space and to get into things like engineering and science and maths.
I think the amazing thing about UQ is just how much passion and investment they put into the entrepreneurship program here at UQ.
Being able to have the mentorship and the advice being given from the people at iLab through UQ Ventures has been invaluable. Being able to help us on the journey as we start our company when we're our most vulnerable has been just enormously beneficial to us. And every step of the way as we've started as a company.
I don't want to be contained. I don't want to be still. I want to be moving and challenged constantly.
UQ Ventures and iLab primarily has helped us to our goal a lot, like giving us business advice, because we're 3 mechanical engineer founders who have no clue on business. They were able to connect us with some really interesting mentors who gave us lots of advice on what to do. Not to mention they gave us access to this facility where we were able to actually make everything. So without them, none of this would have been possible.
I feel ever since I started studying here that there is you always tend to make something like a family. I'll make sure local students, international students, and all of us are just friends. I would say UQ is perfect place to study here. Because the facilities, because the help of the professors, and also the great help that they do to innovation, especially through these programs like iLab and iVentures.
I think being a sole founder and a female and being involved in another business, you want to surround yourself with a good team and find the right people that are as passionate about it as you are. And I've definitely been fortunate in finding that support team, and I know iLab and UQ has been an amazing support in helping you to find that network and really develop into that role.
As an entrepreneur in residence here at UQ, it's been amazing just to see how passionate this university has been supporting entrepreneurship with the students who are looking not just to get jobs when they leave, but to create jobs for when they leave. It's just been amazing to be a part of, and it's been great to share some of those stories.
I think it goes to show that if you have the willpower to do it, you can do it, and all you need to do is to start.
Excellent. In 2021, we are changing the format of iLab and enhancing opportunities for students by offering 2 times 3 months accelerator program with 10,000 equity-free funding available for up to 10 teams. We are looking for passionate and committed founders who have validated their value proposition, an initial sustainable business model, and a solution. We welcome startups from all disciplines, from robotics to social enterprises. To apply, at least half of your team members must be part of the UQ community by either being a current UQ student, recent alumni of UQ, 10 years or less, UQ staff member or researcher. The program includes workshop, mentoring, an entrepreneur in residence, partner incentive, desk space, and introduction to investors. We are proud to announce that Yotam Rosenbaum will be joining Sam Jokel as our entrepreneur in residence as part of our mission to partner with the most innovative entrepreneur. Yotam comes to ventures with more than 20 years of experience, including as a co-founder and COO of Y Combinator-backed startup Earbits, which he helped build from the ground up and lead to its acquisition 4 years later. He was formerly the chief entrepreneur in residence at QT Bluebox. We have some upcoming events and programs. If you enjoyed this event, please join us to celebrate Women's Entrepreneurship Day on the 19th of November. We'll be hosting an online panel of female founders and leaders to discuss their successes and the ongoing challenges females face in their careers. We have also identified a gap and opportunity for more established startups looking for global opportunities connections. We are going to run the new Ventures Global Accelerator program, which is proposed for 2021, to provide established startups with high growth potential, increased access to global expertise and international market opportunities. We have strong partnership with a range of global institutions, many of whom are interested in engaging further in entrepreneurship. This will give more opportunities for ventures participants to connect globally and learn about key markets through hackathons and challenges, and for startups to connect with market opportunities through accelerator programs. For more information about our iLab or our other events and programs, I encourage you to visit our website, ventures.uq.edu.au. Many thanks for tuning in tonight, and I will hand back to Andrew and the judges now for the final results of the pitches.
Thank you, Nimrod. How exciting for what's coming up in the year ahead. Now it gives me great pleasure to have a look at the size of these checks. If these are this big, team, how big is your wallet going to be? So it's pretty exciting. Thank you for joining us on stage, our top 5 team representatives, and they are ready and eager to hear the final results that our judges have deliberated behind the curtain here. I also have Dr. Jessica Gallagher standing right next to me, our Pro Vice Chancellor of Global Engagement and Entrepreneurship at UQ, who is going to help me with these enormous checks and to reward our good teams here. First, we'll hear for some words from our judges. Lisa.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Well, look, I just wanted to start off by saying thank you and very well done. It's amazing every time I come back to UQ and see the amazing talent that we have here. I think, I've run a number of accelerator programs through my time at KPMG, been involved in a number of hackathons and startup weekends at UQ, and I have to say the pitches are really first class. So firstly, congratulations to you all tonight. I think what we've seen here is some really innovative approaches to some really important problems. And it's really clear that you've engaged through the process in what you've presented here tonight in terms of really understanding the customer problem, engaging with them, really thinking about how you solve it, not just technically, but how you wrap a business model around it and take it to market. I think, also that the solutions that you've come up with have got global applications, and that's really in line with the thinking here at UQ, so acting local and thinking global. I would just say very big congratulations. Obviously, there are 3 prizes tonight, but you're all winners, and I'll just hand back to you, Andrew, now to let us know the outcome of tonight's proceedings.
Thank you, Lisa. Who's got the drum roll? Are you excited? I'm excited. And now it's really going to be over to Stephen to give us both the third and the second team winnings. So, and then we'll go to Daniel to announce the actual winner of tonight's event. Over to you, Stephen.
Fantastic. And again, my congratulations to all the teams. And I realise it's a stressful event, broadcasting live, but they say from deep stress comes deep learning. So I hope you all have a good reflection on tonight. Yes, and so in all of this, there's innovation, there's viability, and there's customer value, and also your presentation. They were the criteria that the judges were working in, and I stepped out for the last round. However, in third place, for sheer creative energy and a quick rollout pathway, is Claude Monet and the Droplets.
Well done. We can do elbows. Do you need help?
Well done.
I have a big team. Awesome.
And now, moving on to second place, for a fantastic application for international and developing countries, and really a number of potential lateral value opportunities, Team Watec.
Yay! Well done. And now, Daniel. This is so exciting. What's the name of that song? I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. I think that's the song that's going through my mind. Daniel, over to you to announce our winner.
Thanks, Andrew. Just like to congratulate all the teams. I thought that everyone's done a fantastic job tonight. It's really exciting to see such great talent in UQ bringing their ideas to the world, and we're very interested from a departmental perspective for students to look at our graduate programs into the future for your future careers. So for the reasons we've selected this winning team is because they showed a well thought through presentation with a well thought through idea that had a great business case and had backed this up by the data that they'd collected, and they have great applications not just in Australia but beyond. So for those reasons, Team Soul are our winners.
Yay! Well done. Well done, Team Soul. That is just fantastic. And thank you very much to our fantastic judges this evening. Congratulations to all of the teams. As was mentioned, you are all winners tonight, and it has been such an honour to have you present so well and pitch under lots of pressure. So well done. And ultimately, I really want to make sure that our industry partner working with UQ and our ventures team, and of course the students throughout this challenge have just been terrific. I'll now let Jess say a few closing remarks, and that'll be the exit for me. Over to you, Jess.
Thank you so much, Andrew. What a fantastic event, and again, just big congratulations. It was really so impressive. And of course, these were the finalists from a much larger competition and challenge that we've been running, so my thanks to everybody. This brings us to the end of the Ventures Annual Showcase, an event that I'm sure we can all agree has been hugely beneficial in recognising and celebrating some of the incredible entrepreneurial talent that we have within our community. On behalf of the organising team, it's my pleasure to make a few closing remarks and to express gratitude to everyone who made this event a reality. An event such as this only succeeds if we have the participation of many students, founders, alumni, industry mentors, partners, volunteers that have attributed to the indisputable support of our 2020 initiatives. We've been very fortunate to have so many experienced judges and panellists join us, and I'd like to acknowledge Lisa Jenkinson, Associate Professor Stephen Kenway from our Water Management Centre, Daniel Harris, and of course the entire team at WaterStart this evening. I'd also like to thank our Chief Student Entrepreneur, Rachel, and our incredibly talented Ventures participants, James, Anna, Eliza and Ian. Thank you all to our finalists who pitched their innovative solutions tonight as part of our Ventures Industry Challenge. We truly appreciate the effort you've gone to gone to be here, and we cannot wait to see what happens next. We do hope that you'll join us and keep us in the loop about your journey from here. We also recognise the many of our alumni who have attended our 2020 events. Thank you for championing the ventures of tomorrow. Last but certainly not least, I extend my sincere thanks to colleagues across UQ for their contribution to Ventures programs, and to the whole team in global engagement entrepreneurship for constantly pushing the boundaries and turning ideas into reality. On behalf of my colleagues from UQ, I thank you all for your company this evening and your continued support of Ventures. Universities play a crucial role in underpinning innovation and entrepreneurial activities. They provide the environments, facilities and talents that foster the emergence of breakthrough ideas. Sharing is critical to building an ecosystem that helps innovators be successful. There are many, many more remarkable stories to be told. I encourage you to read and share these stories from our website at ventures.uq.edu.au so that we can spread the word about our startups and our entrepreneurs and their power to change the world. Thank you, everybody, and have an amazing night.